on these communications that we've been aware of to some of the news outlets locally?
I don't believe so. I believe that the release of all this video and still footage of this individual means that they have pivoted to another avenue in this investigation where they are being proactive and seeking the public's help with tips to try to identify this individual and to locate this individual. That's their primary focus right now.
Interesting. Finally, on the way this video was extracted, it seems to be pretty remarkable because as we understood it, Nancy Guthrie did not have the service that saved, and a lot of us have doorbell cameras, and there are services that kind of save the video or live stream, and she didn't have it, but it seems that Google, after several days, was able to extract it. Remarkable, it seems, isn't it?
Yeah, it just goes to show you with modern technology how much of our daily lives is being recorded, whether we are aware of it or not. And luckily in this situation, even though the family may not have been aware of it, luckily it was recorded. And now this is very powerful evidence once we can apprehend this individual to be used to prosecute him.
This hour, authorities in Arizona have executed a search warrant at a home in Rio Rico, which is about 50 miles south of Tucson. The Pima County Sheriff's Office, which is being assisted by the FBI, says the court-authorized search last several hours. Earlier, the Sheriff's Office said a subject was being questioned after a traffic stop.
A gentleman.
Law enforcement official says that person was detained.
His name was Carlos.
Source says authorities have still not gleaned the location of Nancy Guthrie.
They interviewed his mother-in-law.
Back with me, Private Investigator Logan Clark, a retired lieutenant with the LA County Sheriff's Department, Gil Carrillo. Gil, let's start with you.
He was released.
When we were looking at the video,
and he even did an interview
that was just released today from the night of Nancy Guthrie's abduction. We could see a cell phone in one of them. That's an important clue, right?
Well, it's electronic.
The police scanner, nothing's coming up.
Technically,
that really drains the battery on my phone.
Ping that phone. They can find out where it's been. They can track it down just like they would any vehicle. What area it's been in, whether it was in that area or not, where it went to from there, where else it's been used. So they have that ability today.
And they can figure that out even though it's kind of grainy video and you can't really tell. I mean, they can figure out which cell phone it is.
Well, they'll do a pull from the nearest tower and they'll get every single cell phone that pinged off of that tower. And whether as long as it's on. They don't have to call anybody. So they pull all the cell phones from that. They've confiscated all the cell phones at this house.
Yeah, let's get into that. Let's remind people of that. So that was the night of the abduction.
Right.
Tonight, what's happening now?
This is
on this particular
CNN.
House.
They're live. They're the only ones I'm seeing covering it right now.
The person who has been detained, who said that they took his phone, her phone, and everybody's phone that lived there. What does that tell you?
They're taking those phones and they're seeing if
everything
any of those
is
phones
now.
Call that cell phone.
Cameras,
that
phones.
guy's waist. Now you really have something.
Yeah.
So they can just pull all,
they're
all
watching
of that
you,
down
man,
from the tower. And if any one of those phones called that phone, bingo.
That's your person.
Yeah, they've got. Well,
I'd say
that's their.
It's a matter of time.
Exactly.
Before they identify and locate whoever's responsible for this.
Yeah. And that guy wasn't at the front door,
unless
just to
they're in another country, like maybe down in Mexico. That's close by.
Pre-part of it or part of the whole thing.
And would presumably
and even
have
with
some
that,
information
I would
about
say
Nancy Guthrie's whereabouts.
Absolutely.
Whoever did this,
and if
you're watching, now you're watching me.
They're going to clam up like crazy.
It's just a matter of time.
I don't know nothing.
It really is.
I didn't see nothing.
So if I was you,
I didn't do nothing.
I'd do the right thing.
Yeah, I mean, how? Because you've been a part of sort of interacting
Turn
with
yourself
folks
in
these
because you're going to be
How do you
looking
go
over
about an
your
interview
shoulder for the
in
rest of your
something
life.
like this?
Every one of them is different, but
You're going to be, I would say,
treat people like you'd like to be treated if you were in their shoes.
FBI's
You have to have
most
understanding that they do things for a reason. You don't condone their actions. You just have to understand them. And if you do, it makes it much easier to talk to them on a nice level, even killed. Don't belittle them. Don't be angry with them. Just talk.
So that's kind of the opposite of what you see in the movies sometimes,
That's
where they have
exactly.
the cop throwing stuff around and hitting them and
Hit
all
him
of
with
that.
a phone
You
book.
say take the opposite approach.
The
to that.
opposite approach has been work for me. In fact, during the night soccer case, Ramirez called me Gil and I called him Rich. Never once did I raise my voice, and there was never any disrespect from him part
Oh, the night
upon me. And
stalker.
he's probably, without a doubt, the most vile person that I've ever interviewed. So this person, you have to watch what you say, refrain from using heavy words like murder and robbery and kill. You know, she passed. There's not what you would.
Back now to our breaking
Breaking
news. A
news.
person who was detained for questioning as part of the investigation into the apparent kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie, speaking to the New York Times after being released without charges.
I hope they get the suspect, because I'm not it. They
There
better
it
do their
is.
job and find the suspect that did it so they can clear my name. And I'm done. Look at what I'm putting my family through.
You're on
Not just
national
them,
news now.
Not just them. Even my parents in Tucson.
Right.
Yeah.
Welcome back, and back now to our top story. Authorities have cleared the scene after searching a home in southern Arizona as part of the investigation into the apparent kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie. The home is located in Rio Rico, which is not far from the Mexican border and about 60 miles south of Tucson, where Guthrie was last seen. A person was detained during a traffic stop in Rio Rico and was questioned by law enforcement, that's according to a source, but that person has been released, according to CNN affiliate KNXV. Now, despite these developments, authorities still have not been able to locate Guthrie. Back now to our breaking news from Arizona. CNN affiliate KNXV reporting that a person detained for questioning in the Nancy Guthrie case has now been released. The Pima County Sheriff's Department also says that investigators have completed their search for property in Rio Rico, which is south of Tucson near the Mexico border. It added that the investigation is ongoing. Source says that authorities still haven't been able to determine the location, though, of Nancy Guthrie. For more on all of this, I want to bring in former NYPD detective and New York Law School professor Kirk Burkhalter.
I thought this
Kirk,
would
we
be.
appreciate you being with us this morning. Let's just start with the newest
They would figure this
information.
out
A person
this
was
last
questioned,
past
then
weekend.
released, according to local media there.
But I
The
would
house
say
was searched. That search
they're
is now
getting
complete.
close.
Where do things stand in your
And
opinion
I'd say
in terms
maybe
of this
even today,
investigation?
There's an arrest.
Well, I would say that we are certainly not back to
And I
square
hope,
one, but
you know,
we're back
that
to where we
Nancy's
were
still
prior to
alive.
this person being searched. What is interesting is the authorities had to have some information that they felt was somewhat concrete in order to stop the vehicle about an hour and a half away. And they certainly had to have probable cause in order to search the home that was connected with that vehicle. So there may have been some developments or some further information. We don't know if it was from the video or elsewhere
It does sound like
that the
they're
authorities
fishing.
have, but they've been keeping information fairly close to the vest, as they probably should during the course of this investigation.
Let me ask, TMZ founder Harvey Levin said yesterday that a Bitcoin account attached to the purported ransom letters has seen activity. He was very guarded in terms of what he could say when he spoke with Aaron Burnett, but a Tucson TV station said that there's less than $300 in the account. What do you think is going on here?
So, this is very interesting. First, Bitcoin account is something that the authorities are likely to be able to trace. The small amount of money may indicate that the account was just opened or opened fairly recently. And I would suspect it required some type of minimal deposit in order to activate the account. One can't just open up a Bitcoin account or an account, for instance, at a local bank without making some form of deposit. So I would think that perhaps that's what we see, that $300 is reflective of the activity. The issue of releasing the information that that the authorities know the account is active may now encourage the persons involved, the abductors, have you, to no longer use that account and use something else. However, the horse has left the barn as far as possibly being able to trace the origin of the account.
Yeah, I mean, understandably, there's always this tension in terms of what authorities release to the public versus what they need to keep close to the vest because of investigative reasons. Let me ask about this video that was released yesterday afternoon. It seemed to be, I mean, I think the biggest breakthrough that we've seen with this case, at least publicly. When you look at the video, you see the person is armed. At least in some of the videos, you see the person is clearly wearing a mask. You can see his eyes, his eyelashes, pretty distinctive eyelashes, his lips, the mustache. When you saw this video and the images, I mean, how helpful was this to you?
So it certainly was helpful because there are some things regarding the video that are quite interesting. First and foremost for me was the firearm. This seems to be some form of very generic
that's not good.
as opposed to one that is specific to a specific firearm. The way the suspect or the person in the video is wearing the firearm towards the front of their body as opposed to the side is very interesting. And what is interesting about the video is that it is particular to that one person. So we all can look across the room or look across a crowd and perhaps pick out someone that we're familiar with based on how they walk, their movements, where they might carry their bag. Do they carry it across their shoulder or on top of their shoulder and so forth? So the most important thing about this video, and I think that's the reason why it was released, is someone out there knows who this person is or has a very strong suspicion as to who this person is, based on what they can see from the video. Now, the devil's in the details here as to whether that party will contact the authorities. We certainly have throughout recent history have had family members contact the authorities when they recognize a family member has committed a crime. So, you know, whether someone recognizes this person as a family member, a close friend, a coworker, someone in the neighborhood, but based on, you know, the gait and how they're carrying their bag and so forth, it is likely, well, I won't say it's likely, but it's quite possible that someone may contact the authorities. I believe that is why the FBI released the video in an attempt to gain some assistance from the public.
Yeah, they.
Kirk Burkhalter, we appreciate the time.
Yeah, they're
this morning.
needing help when they come out publicly. They're asking.
You're quite welcome.
You know, for help.
And authorities are asking anyone with information to contact the Pima County Sheriff's Department at the number on your screen, 520-351-4900, or contact the FBI.
This is
Yeah, I think that they got those photos when they released them. You know, I think it took a little while. I don't think they held on to that. I don't think there would be any reason, you know, to hold on to something like that. It sounds like they got a bad tip with I didn't know Carlos. I still didn't catch his last name. That poor guy, man. If he had nothing to do with this, I mean, if you see if I could pull up that interview they did with the mother-in-law and everything, because this shows you that don't jump to conclusions here. Where was it? I know I just saw it. The Brian NTN guy. He interviewed there we go, detained. This is probably one. Come up. Something will come up here. Where is that interview? Here's the.
We are following that breaking news. This morning, the man police detained in connection to the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie was just released hours ago. Also, overnight, federal and local authorities searched a home there in Arizona.
Yeah, Austin, he is working brand new developments just rolling into our newsroom. He's there right now. Austin, what do you know at this hour?
Well, a lot has been unfolding while you've been asleep. A person of interest is detained. Their car and home is searched. And right now, that man detained is back home. Just a few hours ago, he was released and he shared his shock with reporters.
And you don't even know who the lady is? Do you know who Savannah Guthrie is?
No. I don't follow the news.
Right.
I don't watch.
You don't watch the Today Show?
No.
So
They keep asking the same questions over and over.
What questions were they asking you?
Nothing. They didn't ask me no questions.
So they just said-
Nothing. They just sat me in the car. They investigated my car and this van, and that's it.
That man's name is
I heard
Carlos,
that
and here's where investigators
they thought
pulled him
that he
over.
was
This
being
is
held
about
in their
60
house.
miles outside of Tucson. Well, he was then detained overnight for questioning about the kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie. Again, that man has now been released and is not being charged. So right now, the search for the 84-year-old is still on. This bombshell video from Nancy's home the night she disappeared has finally been recovered. And it's really unsettling to watch a person right there with a ski mask, gloves, and possibly a gun holstered on their belt to seen trying to remove the camera. Sources say the person's stature has already generated new tips to law enforcement. Now, I can tell you the FBI is working to post digital billboards in major cities about this case. They'll be appearing in Texas and California. This morning, Nancy's daughter, Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie, and her family, they believe their mom is still alive and that she is out there.
Good.
Betty.
You gotta
All
have
right,
hope.
Austin, thank you for that report. We'll continue to follow this.
Yeah, that was
What a dizzying day of developments in the Nancy Guthrie disappearance. A news alert tonight at 9. The Pima County Sheriff's Office confirms that one person has been detained for questioning in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie.
And we learned that that person was detained during a traffic stop just south
Credit
of
to
Tucson,
Fox
actually
10
closer to
on
the
this.
Mexico border. And in a statement within the past hour, Pima County Sheriff's Department, they said earlier today, deputies detained a subject during a traffic stop south of Tucson. The subject is currently being questioned in connection to the Nancy Guthrie investigation. And this all comes today after law enforcement put out doorbell camera video and photos. It shows a suspect outside of the 84-year-old's home. His face is covered. He has a gun. He puts a plant over the doorbell camera. And at this point, law enforcement has not said whether the person who was detained tonight is the man from what you are seeing right now in these videos.
So earlier this evening, we saw both SWAT and bomb squad units mobilized from the Pima County Sheriff's Department. Officials, again, have not yet released details of the nature of that particular mission. The FBI also told Fox its elite hostage rescue team is assembled in Tucson right now.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. We don't know right now if Nancy Guthrie is alive or not. We saw the FBI back at the home of Annie Guthrie today, the other daughter of Nancy. TMZ is reporting law enforcement believes the kidnapper is from the Tucson area.
Details in this case developing so quickly over the past several hours.
And our Taylor Wirtz is live right now in Tucson. Taylor, so much to get to tonight. What have you learned?
Yeah, John and Ellen, truly so many twists and turns just within the last few hours. Definitely the biggest news tonight is the Pima County Sheriff's Department putting out that statement on X just within the last hour, really, saying that a person has been detained for questioning. Fox confirmed they are not being ruled a suspect at the moment, but they were questioned south of Tucson, and TMZ's reporting that person, as you said, is not related to Nancy Guthrie, and the New York Times just issued a statement saying that they believe the person was detained near Rio Rico, which is near the Mexico border. Now, all this comes on day 10 of Nancy's disappearance, and while someone is being questioned tonight, there is still no sign of Nancy. It was a very busy day in Tucson. I can say I have never seen so many media outlets in one place outside of Nancy's home. And this comes with a development that a lot of experts say could crack this case wide open. And that was with the release of video. We finally got eyes on the person that investigators say was outside Nancy's home the morning of her disappearance. The FBI released this video this morning of an armed person walking up onto her porch in a ski mask, trying to cover her security camera with a gloved hand, then putting plants over it. Hours after the release of this video, we saw FBI agents canvassing the area here where we are right now near her daughter Annie Guthrie's home in Tucson. And just in the last few hours, TMZ reported activity in that Bitcoin account listed on a ransom note sent to multiple media outlets. TMZ did not specify the amount, but this is something we've been watching for days with no movement until tonight. I talked with a retired Phoenix police homicide sergeant who's helped crack several notable cold cases. He says the surveillance video released today could blow this case wide open.
This was a major break in terms of giving the community something to say, hey, you know, help us out, give us some information. Somebody out there's got to know more about this individual based on this telling video. The public will hopefully see that and say, well, I know somebody that, you know, has that or carries the gun that certain way or looks that way or has a ski mask or purchased a backpack or still know something. So this just kind of hopefully blew the case wide open.
And Hillman says there's probably so much going on behind the scenes due to the release of that video, perhaps the detainment of that person for questioning that we are not privy to. Like they could be searching surveillance video in other places. They might be trying to validate those ransom notes as they've been doing all week long. And of course, the FBI and Sheriff's Office are going to be searching through the many tips that have been pouring in since that video was released. We have heard that the amount of tips has increased significantly since that video was put out. So much going on tonight, a very fluid situation. But of course, we'll bring you any updates if we hear. Live from Tucson, Taylor Wirtz, Fox 10 News.
Yeah, and we just heard too, Taylor, that the Pima County Sheriff, despite this new development, is saying right now tonight that they do not have a briefing planned yet. So obviously they do have someone detained, but not enough information to release yet to the public.
I don't feel like they don't got much.
Yeah,
really.
and I think the release of that video, so many people are believing that speaks for itself. So as you said, we haven't heard from the Sheriff's Office today. The Sheriff's Office for a while had a lot of press conferences with not a lot of new information. We are getting a lot of new information today. So hopefully that means that they're working behind the scenes to get this thing figured out and find out where Nancy is.
Taylor, and we should note that the video released today and the still images, there may be much more that they have not released. There may be stuff they're holding back that they've got in their pocket that could be very, very helpful.
Yeah, John, that's entirely possible. When I talked with the former Sergeant Hillman today, he said that there's a lot of things that law enforcement keeps close to the vest. Obviously, they decided that it was in Nancy's best interest and the public's best interest to release that video. But there very well could be other things that they are keeping that they don't want the suspect, the person out there to know. So it's definitely possible that there is a lot of video out there and still more to come. We know that they worked with Google for a very long time to get that video. So there could be still more that they haven't even had access to yet.
Yeah, Taylor, thank you. Nancy Guthrie's home is located in the usually quiet Catalina Foothills neighborhood. And as you can imagine, people living there are pretty shaken up.
Yeah. He had a little mustache and those eyes kind of just stand out. I mean, so just hoping that somebody soon recognizes him and knows the name.
It's really scary, you know, that this could happen to someone who has so many good connections in the community.
Has this scared you at all personally, this case?
No, but I lock my doors more than I did. And I talk to people in other parts of the country, my family, and they all say, are you okay? Are you safe down there?
It seemed to me it was targeted. You would think that somebody that knew who Nancy was, that's Savannah's mom. I mean,
money grab probably going wrong in my opinion.
My mom and devastation, just horrible. So just hoping that, that they find him quick and find Nancy and get her home to the family.
The
I mean,
FBI
somebody
has
had
put
to,
up a
in
missing
my
person
opinion,
billboard and really all over the place, actually, for Nancy Guthrie in Arizona, California, New Mexico, and even
somebody had to
Texas.
In a
like know
post on
some
Instagram
inside
today, we heard from Savannah Guthrie. She wrote about her mother. She
information.
pleaded with the public again, saying, "We believe she is still alive. Bring her home. Anyone with information, please contact 1-800-CALL-FBI or the Pima County Sheriff's Department." That from Savannah
Yeah,
Guthrie today.
There's the number there. Does that show up on the? Yeah, there's the number. Yeah, I mean, like if I had to guess kind of what possibly scenario that could have happened was probably a like somebody probably, this is just a hypothesis or a, my opinion, somebody probably got some inside information. I still got my police scanner. There's nothing going on the scanner. Okay. I gotta turn that off because that runs down the battery on my phone. But yeah, I'd say somebody got wind of like, hey, that's Savannah Guthry's, mother lives there by herself, and come up with a plan to do a kidnapping and Bitcoin, and probably had it all planned out. And then something went wrong. And, it's very concerning that, they it sounds like they haven't been able to supply proof of life. So, and if I'm the family, I'm probably not going to pay money unless I know they're alive. Unless like, I guess like if you, plead with them to send the body back, but I mean, I guess in that situation, but on their end, I think that's where the plan went wrong, where they weren't able to, and I hate to say that because that means one thing. I think they said she had medications. She's got a pacemaker, but like those get charged every so often. I'd say these people don't have a lot of money, man. If they they said they said something about the Bitcoin, and then I think they were saying, could be wrong about this, but it sounds like maybe they took some money out. Maybe they're doing that to kind of track them. I don't know a whole lot about Bitcoin. It's weird because like supposedly like Bitcoin, you can't track where that goes to, and then like I know this from other cases like Snapchat, like you communicate with somebody, it goes away. And I learned that from the Missy Beavers case. So like it's all electronic, it's all phones, it's all cameras tracking people. And it sounds like they got that footage through the camera company, the Google or whatever, the doorbell camera. I mean, I would say like a tip, when I meant by like they don't have anything but they're close, I think, there's a tip, and I think they're probably sorting through so many tips. There's probably, unfortunately, people calling in with some ridiculous tips, that they got to sort through all that stuff. FBI is involved. The president made a statement. I mean, I said earlier, if you're this person, I think it's just a matter of time. It really is. There's nowhere to hide on this one. Like you think like, I could run off to Mexico or, live or wherever, live on an island. Nah. And then, there's no money. They didn't get the money, and then you had that other dude that sent ransom notes in, and he had nothing to do with it. I mean, this is a crazy case, man. Like there'll be, not that it matters, but this one there'll probably be a movie made about this, or I mean, I really try not to get into this case because I thought, man, that this, like, okay, when I heard about it, I'm like, this has got to get solved in the next couple of days. And now we're on like day 10 or day 11, right? And I thought that the guy that they had detained, I thought that was it. Like, I went to sleep. Last thing I heard that they detained a guy. I woke up this morning and I looked at my phone. I'm like, yeah, I'm probably, we're going, I'm going to hear something about this. And sounds like he had nothing to do with it. Now, well, I don't want to put any more on him, but he said they didn't ask him any questions. They just went through his stuff. So maybe he really wasn't a suspect. They just thought, like, in police work, they call it deduce. They got to eliminate stuff. So, and then I don't know what's going on with Savannah's brother-in-law, sister's husband, son-in-law to Nancy. Said they haven't heard from him in like a week. And then there's this, friend bandmate that people think look like the picture or the mask. This is a mask guy. I remember, was there one case where like, yeah, it was the Charlie Kirk thing with the guy. They had pictures of him walking, and they thought it was this one dude, and they put pictures out. I think it was a guy that had a debate against him, and it was pretty heated. And people were putting out like, we think it's this guy, we think it's this guy, and kind of the same thing happened with one of his friends here. So yeah, I think in about half an hour I'm going to jump off, and I'm going to like watch some other stuff, and I might come back up on here like if something else breaks. But yeah, they were going through the neighborhood, the FBI and JLR. I put him up here, so he probably follow him and the CNN live stuff. But yeah, they were going around like looking for something. I thought maybe they had like pictures of like who the suspect, they thought who it might be, and they're like, hey, have you seen this person or these people that could have been like lurking around here, before this happened? Because like if this was planned out, like people, they were probably there before, what they call casing the place out. I would think, because this is like, to me, like in their eyes, it was probably like this big score, they call it. You hear on TV, we're set for life. We do this, we're set for life. If it's one person, two people, three people, that's what I don't know. That's what I'm trying to think. Like, does it feel like this is one person? Because it kind of feels like it is, because things went wrong. And you watch the footage of the guy trying to, put something up on the camera. Didn't seem very organized. Like, he's like, oh, what I put up here? And then he grabs shrubbery. It's weird, and then he's trying to walk. Like, I don't know if he's trying to walk to avoid the camera or what. So they must have not known, because like she didn't have the thing for the video camera. I heard that she didn't pay for it anymore. So I'm wondering, like, if they were real inside, they might know that. You know what I mean? Like, people are saying it's a son-in-law, and like he would just just having conversations. Like, he would probably, if he was planning this out, like, know, like, hey, that camera is not working, so don't worry about it. But then again, maybe he, but I don't know. Everybody's saying it's this guy. There's always suspects. Like, you look at Idaho, or the Idaho 4, and there are so many suspects in that. Like, it's this guy, it's this guy, it's this guy, and it was a dude no one heard of. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna jump off here. Yeah. I might be back. But anyways, yeah, I want to say this real quick. Prayers for, Savannah and her family. And I hope that, that your mom's okay and Miss Nancy gets returned safe.